final section of this podcast. Josh, what do you think?
I had quite a bit of fun playing through this game, and there is no goddamn question that the end presented a significant amount of challenge for me. And I would say, like, there's, again, unquestionably better than the NES one, and, you know, the couch co-op had a blast. Like, we were thinking we weren't even going to make it happen, and, like, when it did, I was, like, ecstatic that we were doing it, and when we got into it, I was even more ecstatic. Like, that was a great, a very fun ride. And I wrote all the things down, too. I don't know if you clocked me doing that, but I wrote all the shit down, so...
Yes.
if we can actually do that inside of 10 minutes next time, because I finally took the time to write that down, I'm going to be so upset.
We should just pick a game tomorrow and just couch co-op it. Just like, hey, just jump in.
Just
we got 15 minutes to get into the game, see if we can get into it.
And yeah, even and again, we even got the fucking couch co-op stream to record your audio this time. So like, right. I don't have any explanation for that, dude. I mean, I did go in and check the audio inputs this time, but I think I do that all the other times too. And I don't understand how it could possibly separate. It's recording the desktop. Anytime, if it has the video game music, it should be recording everything the desktop is making sound-wise, you know? So I don't get how it could ever possibly cut off the Zoom audio input if it has the video game. Man. So it's just always such a nightmare. But anyways, that's obviously not what we're determining here, whether or not Parsec sucks. Or OBS sucks, whatever. Anyways, with the game itself, dude, there are fundamental flaws in this game, though, dude. And I was never able to develop a way to use a varied array of offensive tactics in the game. What? Like, I basically just spammed two different things the whole game. I spammed jump kicks for missions 1 and 2, and then I spammed headbutts for missions 3 and 4. And yeah, I never felt like I got to be able to use combinations of your own, like, of the other attacks to stun enemies and keep control of a fight. And this is even with just one enemy, not even just the mobs of them. But, I mean, the very first Williams in the game, I could not just, punch, kick, throw. Like, I could not, it was always like they would get some licks in and knock me down and shit. So, like, I was really thinking that that's not good or fun, that, like, yes, it's such a fun premise, and there's so much going on that's cool and fun and visually interesting and blah, 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 that, like, but that simple, like, the kernel of these games is being able to beat them up. You know what I mean? To be able to strategize and use this varied thing or this varied array of attacks to beat someone up. That's what the whole genre is. And a game that King Lorik cannot see a path to that end doesn't seem like something that he should be bestowing his blessing upon. And I felt that way finishing the game up. And granted, I hadn't done the couch co-op yet. But then I start watching that video of someone who, and anyone who's making a playthrough of these games is good at them. Yeah. And I watched the person who was good at this game play the game, and it just blew my fucking mind how they're just, punches and kicks. Yeah. They're doing fucking elbow smashes and fucking doing the landing jump kicks without getting knocked down and shit. So I'm just not good. And if that is my only bitch, is that I couldn't use that range of things, it's just because I'm a basic bitch on the beat 'em up front and or haven't played this particular one enough to know how to do it, then King Lorik has no choice, obviously, to bestow the blessing. So I think he does magnanimously, in fact, especially taking into account that narrative turn at the end. Like, holy shit, is that a video game accomplishment, So, yes, I was like really leaning on no. And again, just so much. I mean, I guess we would have learned in the couch co-op, sure. And man, would that have been fun for both of us to realize that and then have to both deal. Now it's kind of unfair almost that you're like having a fucking oh shit moment and I'm grabbing the bat. And
you're just like beating me. I'm like, what are you doing?
Like, I'm like, what do you mean? What am I doing? I'm trying to take you the fuck out. So yeah.
Unfair outcome. Unfair outcome.
I don't. Well, I was ecstatic nonetheless, as the couch co-op video clearly exhibits. I do not want to talk any shit because yes, I understand it was a a real moment emotionally, I'm sure, for you.
Dude, I will address your latter comments first, and that's just about like the lack supposedly of beat 'em up. I think it's definitely just lack of playing only this game. You're playing VR. We're older, like you're not just focused on that. Because when I was a kid, I was doing all those very moves. Like that's why I was saying like I love the fact you can do these. I specifically like that it's done even better in the latter ones. I'm thinking, okay, I'm specifically going for headbutts and throws because I like those the most, and jump kicks are fun, and I know that I can rely on them. But that's also why for this run, I was doing it a lot because I know I can much more rely on that versus like going with the stuff. Because, I start freewheeling and going after stuff and then I'm sloppy, we're having fun, and I start dying and I don't want that to happen. So it's much more easy for me to just rely on, the tried and true method. So I think it really is just the more you play it, the more you get used to those moves. And like, oh, if I just stay on this plane, I can do this, double tap here. Yeah,
and especially if
you get used to it.
You take into account the idea of how these games are consumed in 1988, where like, yeah, you get a new game and you're just rocking on this game for how long, So, and you wouldn't be able to save scum at the end in those cases too. So you would have to go back and get good, and that would force you to just fence test.
You will quickly learn how to.
I don't know about quickly. I played it enough where it wasn't quickly. It wasn't quickly, but you would just learn and just try things until you figured it out, And yeah, I mean, which is it makes me so happy that we're getting people to do this. But Matt Gould was posting on one of the things that he had picked up the game and played it. The SMS version specifically, and it's just so cool. It's like the side quest too. There's been a few people. Daryl Trueblood, I know, is playing Phantasy Star along with us and shit. Nice. So it's just so cool that like we convincing people to pick these games back up and play them with us to some degree. But yes, Matt was mentioning how like he hated it at first. And I was like, it's better than the SMS one. Like, and you got to like learn this and that, jump kick, yada yada, and like you will be able to use that later on. And like he came back a few days later and posted like, okay, yeah, like I learned a little bit and it got a little, whatever. And that's a testament to exactly what we're saying here. I think that like, yes, with repetition and with practice, as they would intend for it to be, they don't want you to just pick it up and just rock it. They want you to pick it up and spend some time with it, so you don't fucking take it back to the store. So. That is intelligent design on their behalf, probably, and just our modern gamer sensibility, our bitch-ass modern gamer sensibilities speaking to us and speaking up over what we should just be considering good game design, I think. So, yep. So that was, I believe that's a yes, right? That's a yes.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, there's no way me being having the affinity I have with this series, I'm not going to give it the blessing. I mean, I was literally looking at Double Dragon Rise of the Guidance, which is a new game coming out yesterday. Like, oh, I'm buying that one. Like, of course I'm going to do that.
Yeah, it would be. I wouldn't mind seeing like I definitely, like I said, I can't imagine I played anything past the third one. I didn't even play the Super Nintendo ones. So I would be curious to see where they've gone. And I would guess it's like that new Streets of Rage. They probably are trying to keep maintain.
It was so good too, and it was so good.
Yeah, they're probably trying to keep a little bit of that retro vibe to it. I would guess, especially particularly recently, the new ones coming out now. I'd be shocked if it wasn't embracing the retro. Thing.
It totally is. Like the Double Dragon Neon that I had before was fun, but that's more like realistic and later. And then like another one, I forgot what it was called. But this Rise of Gaiden one is much more kind of like your screen behind you, much more 8-bit kind of kiddie stylish, stylistic from that era, almost like a mix between SNES and NES eras, Sure, so sure. It's a fun homage to that.
Word, yeah, I wouldn't mind checking that out. That could be fun, and I'm sure it'll last to couch co-op.
But I mean, come on now, this version with how exactly it is to the arcade, like what are we talking about? Like I was shocked at how good this was, and the fact that you got me to play a freaking SNS game at this point where I'm like itching to dive into Super Nintendo, like release, let's go there. I told you. This is such a good game. I was shocked.
Yep. No, I mean, yeah, like I said, my only problems with it are things that you're not even going to discover till late game. So yeah, when I first bumped into it and I was fucking with it out of whatever, I mean, like I said, it was wild impetus that out of that ad full of those SMS games that we've all seen already, I can't believe I picked it up and played it, and I don't have an explanation for that. I think it's a testament to the IP and what the games mean and how good they must be, even to someone who's not a beat 'em up person. So that is also its own little crowning achievement. Probably just the fact that it is such a thing that it got onto our radar at a time when that is so far off our radar. SMS games and shit. And like we I always say like it's like whenever I see any sort of SMS, any kind of tweeting about the best game on SMS, whatever, and like my canned thing I always say is like Wonder Boy 3 is the best game by a margin. Like whatever the fuck you want to say, it's number 2 way down the line. Like Wonder Boy 3 is far and away the best SMS game. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. I think this might be number 2 now, in my opinion, on the system of all the, what other SMS game that you played Roston? That was your first game up.
Yeah, Roston.
That's a pretty good one. I would say that's definitely.
This
my top.
Is better than that, though.
Oh yeah, better than that for sure. But that's also my top 10, maybe my top 5. I don't know. Have you played any other SMS games? I don't think so. Right? Wonder Boy.
I'd have to think about them. Yeah, Wonder Boy, obviously, but I'd have to think. I've played more going through magazines, but like I'd have to look at them. Like, oh yeah, I played that one too.
Right.
But nothing that I'm going to put on the the top tier kind of list.
Sure. Yeah, so it's I don't see how you can talk it out of the top 5. I really don't. Or how anyone could talk it out of the top 5. We clearly are not, but I don't see how anyone could. So maybe I'll start saying that as part of my can thing too. My 1, 2 are Wonder Boy and Dragon, Double Dragon. Like I don't want to hear your fucking argument otherwise.
Put some respect on Double Dragon's
right.
name. Yeah.
So yeah, great discovery. Super glad we played it, and I knew there'd be a bunch of fun stuff too, and there was. So yeah, great game app. I'm glad we did it for sure.